Tropical rainforests are often referred to as the lungs of the planet, and it's easy to see why. Every pore of every leaf of every tree facilitates a life-giving exchange of gases, absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen into our atmosphere. But what about the ocean? In some ways, it seems like the absolute opposite of the rainforest. There are no towering trees, no leafy canopies, no carpet of green. Or is there? My name's Ariane Herbert, and I'm a marine biogeochemist and climate scientist at the University of Oxford. Join me aboard the Royal Research Ship James Cook in the tropical South Atlantic as I tell you why the rainforest and ocean might have a lot more in common than you may think. Sailors have talked about a green flash for generations, an optical phenomenon that takes place just as the sun crosses the horizon, now so steeped in folklore that it seems like legend. But what about the flashes of green beneath the waves? I'm fascinated by the microorganisms that live in the surface layers of our ocean, specifically phytoplankton, microscopic plant-like organisms that are at the very base of the marine food web. They're responsible for fixing a massive 40% of the carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, so just like the rainforest, act as the planet's lungs. And since carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, trapping the sun's heat within our atmosphere, you can see why the oceans are so important in combating climate change. On this research expedition, I'm looking to find out exactly what role phytoplankton play in our oceans and how that role is likely to change into the future. For example, we know that as the ocean warms, it becomes more stratified. In other words, the layers within the ocean become more defined, with less mixing of heat, gases and nutrients. Now, since this means fewer nutrients are supplied to the phytoplankton living in the surface layers of the ocean, the abundance of phytoplankton could be set to decline. And what's more, these conditions are likely to favour smaller species of phytoplankton, which are less good at storing carbon than their larger relatives. You can see how this leads to a positive feedback loop, with ocean warming leading to a weakening of the carbon-fixing ability of phytoplankton communities, which in turn leads to more warming. So in order to explore these ideas in more detail, we're conducting a series of experiments, and it all begins before the sun rises. Let me show you.
It's 1:30 AM, I'm out on deck, and it doesn't really get cold out here. We're on the same latitude as Brazil and Bolivia. These are our on-deck incubators, so they keep our phytoplankton at ambient light and temperature as they would be at the surface of the ocean. We're sampling phytoplankton from the ocean surface to see how they've evolved and adapted to life here, what might happen when those conditions change.
In this lab, we're now going to experiment on the phytoplankton as we subject them to different conditions. Now, we're actually giving them a luxury treatment, adding nutrients into their environment and alleviating some of their stresses. We'll incubate them for about a week under these conditions and then take a look to see how the phytoplankton community has responded to this change in conditions. We can look at which species are there, their relative abundance, and through some genetic analysis, see which genes have been switched on and off to respond to the changing environment. This then allows us to work out, amongst other things, what might happen in the real world as nutrient supply to the surface ocean changes as a result of our changing climate. Through this research, we hope to get a better handle on exactly what the future holds for these carbon-fixing heroes, which, just like the rainforests, act as the lungs of the earth. So to find out more about my research, head to www.arianewen.com or find me on Instagram at scienceformymum.